The Rachni are an insect-like species that threatened Citadel space roughly 2,000 years ago during the Rachni Wars. Intelligent and highly aggressive, the spacefaring Rachni were driven to expand and defend their territory. They were eventually defeated and completely eradicated by the Krogan, who had been uplifted by the Solarians for their combat prowess and physical resilience to directly confront the Rachni in the harsh environments of the Rachni worlds. The accidental discovery of the Rachni led to the Citadel races curbing their rapid expansion in fear of being plunged into another galactic war. Origins. The Rachni evolved on Suen, a planet tidally locked to its red dwarf star. Life developed in a habitable terminator zone between hemispheres that were constantly scorched or perpetually frozen. The harsh conditions of Suen's surface forced the Rachni to forage underground, amid sprawling subterranean river systems. Sometime at the height of the Prothean Empire, the Protheans discovered the Rachni and bred them as weapons of war, selecting for the most cunning and warlike queens, and unleashing Rachni swarms on their enemies. Eventually, the Rachni became too difficult to control and turned on their Prothean masters. The Protheans attempted to eradicate the Rachni and destroyed as many as 200 worlds before they were satisfied. The Rachni were extinct, but enough survived on Suen to replenish their population. As the Rachni developed civilization, they established surface cities on Suen. Wrestling with the engineering problems of Suen's extreme surface environment may have given the Rachni their first insights into how to build interstellar spacecraft. After achieving spaceflight, the Rachni first traveled to the neighboring planet of Ashop-2 and discovered a crater there known as the Howling Gulf, which featured an abundance of element 0. The Rachni obtained samples of the EZO and studiously researched its properties, but would not develop FTL technology until centuries later. During Mass Effect 1, you encounter the Rachni once again when Shepard visits Noveria during his mission to chase after Saren. There you can either decide to let the queen of the Rachni die or live, and depending on your choices, she will either appear or not in Mass Effect 2 or 3. The Reaper War. During the Reaper War, a Rachni hive is encountered on Utaku by the Krogan Aralak Company, led by Grunt, if he survived the suicide mission, or Urdnot Dag. It is revealed that the Reapers found the Rachni Queen and indoctrinated most of her children, though not the Queen herself. The indoctrinated Rachni were converted into Ravagers, walking organic artillery, through a process of implementation and genetic modification. Ravagers also bear egg sacs that spawn mutated Rachni workers known as Swarmers. The fate of the Rachni is once again in Shepard's hands if the commander chooses to deal with the Utaku hive. Shepard has a choice to either save the queen or let her die. If she is saved, Rachni workers are sent to work on the Crucible project, where they are prized assets for their engineering capabilities, industrious nature, and good teamwork. If she is left to die, the queen accepts her fate, claiming she will embrace the silence and the Rachni are once more extinct. So what are the chances that we'll encounter these guys again? We know that they're versatile. We know that they're a pretty strong race. They're very hard to kill. When the Protheans had tried to completely eradicate them, it didn't work. 50,000 years later, they appeared again during Mass Effect 1. So I think it would be safe to assume that they're probably not extinct this time either. Even if you would choose the non-canon endings of the Rachni Queen dying. But as we all know, the Destroy ending is possibly the canon ending, and then possibly also, because of that, the Rachni helping the war effort is possibly also canon. But then we also know that Mass Effect 4 might take place a few hundred years into the future, so Shepard's choice maybe didn't matter after all. Wait, that's not true. We know that Liara walked on dead Reapers, and if you chose control, that would mean that the Reapers would be moving around everywhere because they would have rebuilt civilization, so destroy is the natural ending. Anyway, it would be very nice to see them return, but not as hostiles. I wouldn't necessarily like it very much if they returned as enemies again. Considering that in their story they seem to be territorial, but they don't really seem to be hostile by nature. Not really. That would be something that would be cool to see. what it was that triggered the fact that they started a war with the galaxy back in the day. Because as we can see, the Rachni seem to have tremendous respect for Shepard, and they seem to have good teamwork with the rest of the races. And they're not dumb. They're not dumb aliens. There's a clue about the Leviathan, right? That the Leviathans might be the ones responsible for starting the Rachni War in the beginning, to prepare for the next cycle to stop the Reapers by using the Rachnis as weapons. Now, this wasn't confirmed in-game, but the fact that the game itself put that out as a clue says a lot. So in my last video I talked about the possibility of the Leviathan returning as a villain. It's not a must. They can possibly return as a helping hand, maybe, if they return at all. The Leviathans, that is. But here's the thing. They could possibly use the Rachni as a weapon to start a war, as it seems that this clue is saying that they were trying to do back 50,000 years ago from the last cycle with the Protheans. So who knows? That might be happening. I wouldn't hate it, but I would prefer, as we know both now about the Leviathans and the Rachni, that they are not fully hostile from the start. Anyway, I just thought that this video would be pretty nice to make about the Rachni, because they're kind of an underrated race in Mass Effect. And it's not one of those subjects that you usually talk about in the game, the Rachni. They're very interesting though, as a race, considering that all the bugs you kill in Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 are actually all individuals. They're not just an ant, each one of them that you kill. That's what I remember from my playthroughs of Mass Effect, that when you mowed down the Rachni, they were basically just bugs. But then when you read about how they're actually intelligent, and when you meet the Queen, you learn that they actually are all their own people. Kind of makes you feel bad. Or completely destroying hives upon hives of Rachni. So yeah, I think they would have been a nice addition to the next game, just to retread old ground. Maybe not completely, but just, you know, some Easter eggs here and there. Possibly that they could help rebuild the mass relays. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Rachni? Do you find them interesting, or are they just a pretty boring race that you don't really care about? Leave your comments below and let me know. Please like if you like this stuff. And if you have any suggestions, just hand them out to me. I love getting suggestions on what I should do next, because it's hard finding ideas every day and coming up with stuff to create. So please leave any suggestions down below. I'm reading every comment, I promise. I'm not even lying. Thank you again. Have a nice day.